2021 Subaru Forester versus the 2021 Subaru Outback. What are the major benefits and differences between these two popular crossovers, and which one should you go with? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Help Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. Thanks to their amazing safety, reliability, and the go-anywhere capability of their standard all-wheel drive systems, Subaru's crossovers have been becoming increasingly popular choices for those who are looking for a well-designed SUV. The Forester and the Outback are two of the most popular crossovers in the Subaru lineup, but what are the benefits and major differences between these two popular SUVs? Well, make sure to stick around to the end of the video because that's what we're going to find out. The Forester is the more conventional looking crossover of the two, designed to compete with rivals like the Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, Nissan Rogue, and Mazda CX-5. One great thing about the Forester though is that, like some of its rivals, it boasts a great reputation for overall build quality and reliability. Subaru owners are well known for keeping their cars for a very long time, and even Subaru likes to brag that over 98% of the cars that they've sold in the last 10 years are still on the road today. The other great thing that the Forester has going for it is the fact that it comes standard with Subaru's famous symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive system. The major benefit to this system is the fact that it's able to move the power around to the wheels that need it most, which gives you better overall traction and all-weather capability. Subaru also likes to brag that it gives its cars better handling and cornering capability, but if you're looking for a sporty driving experience, the Forester is not really the SUV to go with. It's really designed just to get around as comfortably and reliably as possible. Although there's nothing particularly sporty or adventurous about the way the Forester looks, it does have a very practical design with large, tall windows all the way around, which gives it amazing outward visibility. If you're looking for an SUV that's really easy to drive and really easy to see out of, then the Forester is a great choice. The Forester's only drivetrain is a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder boxer engine that makes 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque. It comes matched to a standard continuously variable or CVT transmission. The drivetrain is arguably the Forester's weakest part because ultimately it just doesn't have very much power for getting the job done. It also comes with a pretty unrefined and jarring engine start-stop system, which fortunately can be deactivated. The other concern with this engine is that although it does seem to be fairly reliable as of late, if you go further back into its history, there are some concerns with oil consumption and head gasket issues, which might be concerning to some buyers. The same could be said of the CVT transmission, which, although it performs fairly well and does have a good history of reliability so far, just doesn't have the same long-term reputation as a more conventional transmission than like you would get in a Toyota or a Mazda. One major benefit to the Forester, however, is the fact that it comes standard with Subaru's EyeSight active safety technology. This includes features like forward automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, and adaptive cruise control. The Forester also gets a top safety pick plus rating from the IIHS, which is their very top safety rating. The interior of the Forester is very well designed with plenty of space and a good-sized cargo area. The control setup is one of the most approachable, with an easy-to-use, well-designed touchscreen infotainment system and conventional buttons and controls for commonly used features. Base versions come with a 6.5-inch touchscreen, whereas the higher trim levels get a larger 8-inch screen. All models, however, come standard with Sirius XM satellite radio capability, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. Overall, this is a really well-designed interior and a comfortable place to spend time. Now, by comparison, the Outback isn't exactly a conventional crossover, as it looks a bit like a large wagon that's been lifted and beefed up to give it a more SUV vibe. It does have a lot in common with the Forester, however, like the same full-time symmetrical all-wheel drive system and the same basic drivetrain. What's great about the Outback, however, is that unlike the Forester, you get an optional, more powerful engine option. Lower trim levels come with the same naturally aspirated 2.5-liter engine that you get in the Forester. If you go for the higher trim levels, however, you get a turbocharged 2.4-liter boxer engine that produces 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. Now, I'd strongly recommend considering the optional turbocharged engine in the Outback because the base 2.5-liter engine just feels pretty labored and underpowered in the larger, heavier Outback, especially when you load it up with people and cargo. By comparison, the 2.5 turbo has plenty of power to get the Outback moving, and it doesn't even consume much more gas either, with pretty much the same fuel economy numbers. The only major drawback is the same jarring and rough engine start-stop system, which is even more annoying with the Outback because in order to deactivate it, you have to go through a few different menus on the large touchscreen infotainment system, which I'll get more into in just a minute. Now, on top of the more powerful engine option, the other major benefit that you get with the Outback over the Forester is the fact that you just get more interior space and cargo space. The Outback is a slightly larger crossover, so for those who prioritize space and practicality, it is the better choice. Another major difference with the interior of the Outback is the unique touchscreen infotainment system. Unlike the more conventional looking infotainment system that you get in the Forester, the Outback gets a large 11.6-inch touchscreen display that looks a lot like a large tablet. Although it does come with some buttons and knobs that flank both sides of the screen, just about everything from the sound system to the climate controls is controlled using this touchscreen, which does take time to get used to. Personally, I'm a much bigger fan of the more traditional control setup that you get with the Forester, which is just a lot easier to use and less distracting while driving. Just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, if you want to deactivate that annoying engine start-stop system, you have to go through 3 different submenus on the touchscreen, which takes forever, as opposed to just pushing a simple button like you would have to do on some other car. Other than the large touchscreen, which does have a learning curve, the interior of the Outback is very well designed and has some nice unique touches. One of my favorite unique touches is the available all-weather synthetic leather upholstery that you get on the outdoor trim, which is a much more durable, easier to maintain alternative to regular leather. Like the Forester, the Outback comes standard with Subaru's EyeSight active safety technology on every trim level, and it gets a top Safety Pick Plus rating from the IIHS. Another major difference between the Forester and the Outback is pricing. Although it's a larger crossover and does give you an optional, more powerful engine option, the Outback is more expensive than the Forester by about $2,000 to $3,000 for the equivalent trim level. So if you're someone who prioritizes value for money, you are going to save by going with the Forester. Overall, although both of these Subaru crossovers do have a lot of overlap, there are certain differences that can sway your decision one way or the other. If your priority is to have as much space as possible, you don't mind spending a little extra, and you just need that extra power, then the Outback is the obvious choice. For just about everyone else, however, the Forester is more than enough crossover to get the job done. It still comes with plenty of space, decent performance, a very well-designed interior with a much easier to use control setup and infotainment system, and it also has a lower price point as well. Overall though, if you're looking for a well-built, sensible, and reliable SUV, you really can't go wrong with either of these two choices. Although the Forester has some obvious benefits and is my choice between these two, both of these are ultimately very well built, reliable, and sensible SUVs, and either one of them would make an amazing choice. Let me know what you think of either the Subaru Forester or the Subaru Outback, and if you have any recommendations or suggestions for future car comparisons or car videos, please leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you need any car advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, check out carhelpcanada.com. Their team of experts would be happy to help you out. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.